I'm going to talk about Muskrat Falls. I know this is a controversial topic. A lot of people agree, and there are a lot of naysayers saying that this is not the best option. But tonight, I'm going to tell you some facts. I think this is a very viable and the best options for Newfoundlanders. Any of you follow on Muskrat Falls in the news? It's very good. So you can ask me questions after. For those who don't, you can still ask me and see why you think may not be the best option for the province. This is Muskrat Falls. You can see a lot of energy can be used to produce power. This is the upper part of Churchill Falls. And if you can see, this is the map, and Muskrat Falls is there, the upper part of the Churchill Falls. And the other two falls are called Goat Island Falls and Churchill Falls. Right now, the big question we talk about is Muskrat Falls. And you can see if there's a power generating station built there, we have to transmit the power all the way from central of Labrador down to Newfoundland to Soldiers Pond, and then the transmission will go through Hollywood and right to Nova Scotia and provide certain power to Nova Scotia. And through there, there's endless possibility that you can sell your power down to the United States without going through our neighbor, our friendly neighbor, Quebec. Why is it the best option? What are the options? The options are, of course, you can say refurbish Hollywood plants and the Goat Island, wind power, or natural gas. We'll talk about each of them individually. Hollywood plant. This is a 40-year-old plant. As you all know, it burns oil. And oil is unpredictable. The oil price is going to increase from year to year. If you know, if you burn oil, you will have carbon emission, you have sulfur emission to the atmosphere. And this is why the people in Hollywood area, they're all for the Muskrat Falls options, because their health is affected. Do you know how much carbon is exposed to the air every year? It's almost about 800,000 tons of carbon emission to the atmosphere. And this is very bad for environment. But the funny thing is, recently, if you read the news, there was an environmental group that was against the Muskrat Falls, saying that all the options are not provided for. Imagine, environmentalists, they're not in favor of Muskrat Falls, but rather they're in favor of the other options, which to me doesn't make sense. To maintain the Hollywood plant, you have to put in at least another 600 million up to the year 2025. And one of these days, that plant is going to die. And the government around the world is trying to cut down emissions of carbon into the atmosphere. And since 2006, the amount of carbon emissions have been cut down from 2% in 2006 to 1% in 2009. To do that, really, we have to use more high quality of fuel, and this is why the cost of running the Hollywood plant will be higher and higher. And Goat Island. What is the Goat Island? Remember the map here? Goat Island is this one here. This one can produce almost 10 times the power of Muskrat Falls, but that will be a much bigger project. So this is not an option right now. So we are not going to do anything on Goat Island. So what we're going to do is we look at Muskrat Falls. Muskrat Falls can provide 824 megawatts of power, which is almost 6 times that of the Hollywood station. And in this energy produced, this part, making the generating plant work, costs about $2.9 billion. And the cost to transmit the power link across the island will be another $2.1 billion. And from here, the link to Nova Scotia will be $1.2 billion. The whole project will cost about $6.9 billion. people will say, we're going to sell ourselves to Nova Scotia. But Nova Scotia, actually, they contribute 1.2 billion towards the project. In return, they will have free power for 10 years, which is not, the whole power is supplied by our province. Only 10% of the power in Nova Scotia will be supplied by our province. But there's a limit, only for 15 years. And after 15 years, the power will belong to Newfoundland, and they have to pay for that. And if you can generate power through this route, the possibility is limitless, because it creates a power grid in northeast continent, and it will provide a lot of opportunities money-wise for Newfoundland. And this power plant, the energy is clean, it's efficient, and also it's always there. It's not like the hydrocarbon burning in Hollywood. You have to depend on oil, and you have to keep on buying oil for something that would depreciate the quality of the plant. The next one is wind power. People say Newfoundland has a lot of wind power. Why can you use it? Do you know to produce 1 megawatt of power requires $2.3 million? And to produce the same effect, 824 megawatts of power, you require close to $2 billion already. So the difference is less than $500 million. But the thing is, you cannot rely on wind power all the time. When you have wind power, you also have to require other type of alternative power to supplement it. Because you cannot expect wind power to be a stable source of energy. Because sometimes you may have no wind for a day or two, and you cannot depending on an economic plan without any stability. This is important. You have to know wind power can provide some of the power. You still have other backup power to support yourself. So the total cost will never be less than the amount you put into this plant. To put into this plant here requires $2.9 billion. And the wind power itself is almost close to $2.5 billion. So for that amount, plus the supporting power stations to build around that, will be a much more cost inefficiency compared to Muskrat Falls. The next one, natural gas. Natural gas, right now, the price is lowest. It peaked in the year 2000, over 12 years ago. It is not viable to extract natural gas from the ground. It's just like if you have the oil prices is low, it's not viable to do oil sands in Alberta. And this is why if the natural gas price is too low, nobody will mine the natural gas. Even if you have a company to mine the gas from the ground, the cost of building the pipeline is astronomical. It's never viable to build the pipeline and you get the gas from the state. It will be more expensive. You have to rely on external person, external country to provide you with power. You're being limited. We are Newfoundlanders. We have to use our own source, our own energy, and benefit our children for generations to come. And remember, the cost analysis have been approved by national level. We have an independent Winnipeg consulting company and approved that. And also, recently, our Newfoundland energy advocate, he said that our plan is economically viable and it's the best option. Even Steve Locke, he did a lecture. The room was packed with people, and he agreed this is the best option. So, if you compare all the four costs that involve building the energy source in the future, there's no other source that can be better provided than through our Muskrat Falls. And also, there's a lot of money involved here. Taxes to the government and also to Canada government as well. You're looking at millions of dollars, $110 million of money, taxes to Newfoundland government, and $220 million to the government of Canada. And jobs jobs is extremely important in this province. Remember, not just your children, your grandchildren, they all depending on a reliable source of energy and also source that you can depend on without limited by other power. So in fact, I can tell you, based on the 4 factors I tell you now, Muskrat Falls is the best option. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions. Yes?
I attended that session with Wade last night.
Yep.
And one of the things that kept coming up at that session was that, what about the cost overruns and how high can it go? And the $5 billion is put out there, but a lot of people are concerned that that figure could just go to 6 or 7 or 8 or 9.
Yes, they put a $5 billion figure to cover any inflations or cost increases. But you have to think about it. If you do other projects, the same factors will be there. So you are not looking just at Muskrat Falls. If you look at to maintain the power station at Holyrood, you have to look at other factors involved. If you build the wind power, the same thing, the cost overrun will involve with the wind power. As I said before, not just the wind power station. You have to other alternative power to support your wind power thing to make it work. So you're looking at double the cost as well. It's not just the Muskrat Falls. You have to look at the wind power plus other things together to replace the Muskrat Falls. And also the Holyrood station, the Holyrood generating power, its only life will be up to 2025 and it will be gone, and you have to think of another alternative. This is why you're not looking at another 35 years. You're looking at beyond 35 years. Down the road, Muskrat Falls will still be the best option. Any questions? Yes?
Yes, I wanted to know why the ecology study or whoever was studying the opposition to Muskrat Falls, why they objected to it.
One of them was saying the environment because it's not going to be environmental friendly. They're talking about the habitat will be destroyed. But I tell you, there's a compensation package. They look at all the options involved. They look at flooding of the reservoirs, affecting the habitat there, affecting the aboriginals' habitat. And did you know that Inuit people actually approved the project? They think it's environmentally friendly to them. So they look at the amount of damages to the caribou herd, to the seabirds, and to the fisheries. All combined, the benefits still outweighs the damages they could produce. So this is why they say there will be some adversities, but on the whole, the benefits outweighs the adversities that will create. There's no questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Actually, 2 questions. First, about why you don't consider nuclear power station, and second, there is tide, power generation using tides. Okay.
But if you use nuclear power, there will be more opposition. As you can tell, you have to do another study, and other people have been saying that how come the other alternatives are not provided for the government? And some people even criticize the government hasn't started the project yet and already spent $30 million just to do studies. If you want to do nuclear power, if you want to do tidal power, you have to invest a lot more, and then you will get more criticism. In tidal power, what's the difference between Muskrat Falls? Is much more water energy provided for than by tidal. Tidal, you're not looking at a tsunami, you're looking at something that you can use all the time. In tidal power, you're not seeing something that is there constantly and powerful enough to give the equivalent amount of 824 megawatts. And nuclear power, right now in the world, after disasters, so many things, and nuclear power is a lot of other environmental factors involved there. So, and I have to stop now. Thank you.